What's up, beautiful people? I'm going live on Instagram right now, and we are live. We're going to be talking about the new moon in Libra coming up in a few days. Let's wait for everybody to hop in. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday. Little bit of an impromptu live. Usually I have these scheduled ahead of time, but I ended up having to make a trip to California because I had to get my car registered. And yeah, I'm not able to do that in Oregon. So here we are. I'm coming to you guys live from an Airbnb over here in Eureka, California. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you guys happen to be at. Really excited to go over this new moon in Libra with you. This will be recorded and also posted to YouTube. If you see me kind of like looking back and forth, it's because I'm actually looking at the computer camera, and then I'm also looking at Instagram. So congratulations on the car. I've had a car for a long time, but I've been living in Portland, Oregon, and I haven't got it registered in Oregon. So I had to drive down quite a few hours to just beyond the California border to register my car tomorrow, or to get it smogged actually. So I have to get it smogged in order for it to get registered. So yep, unfortunately, they don't do out of state smogs or emissions checks in Oregon. So yeah, lesson learned. If you need to get your, if you move to a different state, you got to re-register your car, okay? But I wasn't planning on being in Oregon this long, so that's why I never re-registered my car. But anyways, enough about me. Let's dive into the astrology of the new moon in Libra that we have coming up in a few days. How's everybody doing? How's everyone been feeling? This has been some this full moon and Aries cycle has been kind of exhausting and draining for a lot of people. The astrological times right now are kind of intense. We have a lot of change, a lot of endings and new beginnings that we're kind of going through collectively, but also that people are going through individually. And this new moon in Libra is going to be a big part of this process of kind of like climactic endings, kind of moving away from things, but also kind of like initiation, beginning a new life, going in a new direction, especially in the realm of like relationships. Also, when it comes to legal matters, there's a lot of people that have been dealing with legal situations, but this new moon in Libra is gonna open up the door for more kind of like legal retaliation, going to court, trying to, you know, get using the law or using higher authorities to solidify or to navigate certain contentious things in relationships or partnerships. Like that's what this new moon in Libra is going to also be about. Libra is a sign of partnerships and relationships. Libra is also the sign of law. Libra is connected to business. Libra is connected to balance and fairness. Libra is the masculine side of Venus, right? So the feminine side of Venus is Taurus, the sign of Taurus. Um, which is earth element, right? Where the social, masculine, aggressive side, I guess you could say, of Venus is Libra. Okay, Libra, opposite of Libra is a sign of Aries, right? So we get what we get with Libra, the Libra Aries axis is we get peace, Libra, and we get war, right? But also Libra is a social justice warrior type of energy. Libra is an advocate of equality. It's so interesting because one of our most favorite, everybody coming in, welcome. We just started a few minutes ago. We're going to be talking about the new moon in Libra for the next hour and a half. Like I said in the beginning, this will be recorded and posted to YouTube as well. And so we're going to be talking about like general themes. And then I'm also going to be going over the elements to kind of help you guys understand a little bit of how this new moon in Libra is going to be showing up for you based on your rising sign or your sun or your moon, but mostly based on your rising sign. When it comes to astrology, we should be looking to our rising sign whenever we're getting guidance or we're going for readings and things like this. If you don't know your rising because you don't know your birth time, then you should use your sun sign. And the last placement that you should use is your moon sign, okay? When we're talking about horoscopes or things like that, it's associated with astrology. So, like I was saying, the new moon in Libra, right? One of our most favorite people, if you're here in the States, one of our most favorite people that is a Libra, who's been a star of the show all Libra season, is Zoran. Zoran Mandani. His birthday was just a few days ago. I think his birthday was yesterday. I think his birthday was the 18th. This man he's taken politics here in the States by storm, especially if you're in New York, in New York. Mamdani is someone that is running for. If we have a little bit of lag, I'm sorry, just go ahead and let me know. It just said that there was a little bit of lag right now, because I am on Wi-Fi and I'm in the mountains. So this behind me right here, I don't know if you guys can see it. You can see it on Instagram, but there's like a mountain. There's a mountain range behind me, and I'm on Wi-Fi right now, and I'm in the middle of like the mountains. So if my internet kind of like dips out, or if it's like coming and going and stuff, my apologies ahead of time. Okay. But like I was saying, Zoran Mamdani, he is a Libra sun and he's a Leo rising, and he does have Mercury Mars in a conjunction in Scorpio, which is actually where we have Mercury Mars right now at this very moment. So, one of the most interesting things that we're going to have kind of locked into the new moon energy for the next 2 weeks is we're going to have this Mercury in Scorpio and Mars in Scorpio conjunction. They're going to be at 20 degrees on the 21st, which is our new moon. So, our new moon in Libra is on the 21st. So it's not today. It's going to be in a few days. We're already in the new moon in Libra energy, though, because the moon has already entered the sign of Libra. We're having a new moon that's going to be at the very last degrees of Libra. It's going to be at 28 degrees Libra. And those last degrees, the 28th degree, the 29th degree, and even, 0 degrees, 1 degrees as we enter into a new sign. These are kind of like climactic, critical degrees. Even though it is a new moon, and typically with the new moon, we plant new seeds and we, go in new directions and we set intentions for like new beginnings and things like this. Because it's a late degree new moon, it's kind of giving the energy of endings, the energy of closure, the energy of completion, the energy of kind of like many of us realizing that there's certain things that we have to move away from or leave behind if we want to start something new, right? So when we start getting to the last degrees of a sign, if we end up having a new moon or a full moon that's at the last degrees of a sign, what we get is this energy of climax, closure, and completion. Right? We're wrapping up some kind of narrative or some kind of story associated with Libra. So one of the things I was talking about in the beginning, I was talking about all the things that Libra rules over, right? Or the themes that are going to be connected to this new moon in Libra. So Libra is a sign of partnership and relationship. Libra is also the sign of business. It's also the sign of so our best friend or those that we have intimate one-on-one connections with. Libra is also the sign of the law. So when it comes to legal matters, that's one of the things I was saying in the beginning. We're going to see a lot of people initiating or starting illegal things, taking people to court, or dealing with some kind of, like I was saying, higher authority and using some kind of system in order to, create some kind of balance or harmony in a relationship, or in order to bring someone to justice, in order to hold someone accountable, things like this. These are going to be themes that we're going to see with the new moon in Libra. Libra, when it comes to health, when it comes to the body, Libra rules over the kidneys. Libra is connected to the lower back. Libra is also connected to our hormones and our sex organs, and Libra also rules over our bladder. So these are areas of health that we want to be looking out for during this new moon cycle. If you are someone that, you have high blood pressure, because Libra's on this axis of Aries, right? So Libra and Aries, they have a lot to do with like the blood. Libra, the kidneys filter out the blood, Aries. So if you are someone that has high blood pressure, low blood pressure, if you're someone that has kidney issues, you have bladder issues, you have gall, even if you have like, what is that? Uh, You have kidney stones and stuff like that. You want to be very, very aware of this new moon because this new moon is can trigger some kind of health problems or health issues for you. Also, if you have any issues with your liver, okay, or even your hips and things like this, the new moon is going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer, which I'll talk about. But that square to the new moon, from the new moon to Jupiter in Cancer, can also trigger issues with the Jupiterian parts of our body, which is our liver, our pancreas, our gallbladder, partially, even though our gallbladder is mostly connected to Virgo and it's ruled by Mercury, but also our hips, our thighs. Those are also connected to Jupiter. Those are also parts of the body ruled by Jupiter, okay, through the sign of Sagittarius. So these are all areas of the body that you want to keep in mind. Also, the feet, feet issues. Jupiter square the new moon, even though Jupiter's in Cancer. Jupiter through the sign of Pisces is also connected to our feet and our foot health. So, I don't know why, but the combination of the new moon in Libra with Jupiter and Cancer is kind of giving me if you are someone that has like edema, or if you get swollen feet because you have blood pressure issues or you have diabetes or something. It's just something you want to be very mindful of or very aware of for this new moon in Libra, okay? Let me go look at the comments really quick and see what people are saying. Hold on. Just saw that against the partner suing him. So there's somebody new moon in Libra on my Libra twin's birthday. Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. Currently have a skin flare up and it's red from the liver. Yes, the liver has a lot to do with your skin. Libra is also connected to the skin as well. Even though I give that more to Capricorn, but like the quality of your skin, the beauty of your skin, that's connected to Libra as well. And hormones. Our hormones are connected to Libra. Let me go see let me go read what people are saying. Da, 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 da. You have court in 2 weeks. Okay. Hola, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, Capricorn is connected to the skin mostly. But Venus and Capricorn kind of share rulership of the skin, but Capricorn rules over the skin, the sign of Capricorn. Saturn is connected to the container that holds our body together, right? So Saturn rules our bones, which is the structure of our body, the building blocks of our body, the skeleton, right? Which is Saturn. Saturn rules the bones. Saturn is also connected to teeth. Capricorn is connected to the teeth. Also, like our connective tissue, like our ligaments, that's also connected to Saturn. But Saturn's also rules over the skin because it's the external layer, it's the external barrier that protects us from the outside world. It protects our insides from the outside. But also, Saturn exalts in Libra, and Libra and Venus are connected to the skin. So there we go. That's how we build that connection, okay? But yeah, so we have 28-degree new moon in Libra coming up on the 21st. The time that it's going to be at, it's actually going to be at, let's see what time it's going to be at. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's gonna be at 8:24 a.m. Eastern time. If you are on the West Coast, like myself, it's gonna be at 5:24 a.m. Eastern time, Tuesday morning, October 21st. Okay, so all right, let's kind of talk about the new moon. Let's keep going. The new moon in Libra, and then we're gonna talk about aspects, and then I'll kind of go over all the elements. Okay, so Libra is a sign of partnership or relationships. New moons are about new perspectives, new beginnings, a new way of approaching things, initiating something new, beginning something new. So I think with this new moon in Libra, collectively, we're going to be seeing a lot of people starting new relationships, initiating new relationships. This doesn't have to just be about love and romance. This could also be about business. This could be friendships and things like this. For people that are already in existing relationships, this new moon in Libra is going to ask you, why are you in the relationship? Okay. Are you enjoying it? Are you having fun? Are things equal? Are things balanced? Are things fair? Right? Do you feel passionate? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel motivated by this relationship? Right? Do you feel like it needs to go in a new direction? Do we need some kind of expansion, some kind of growth? Right? One of the key features of this new moon is going to be the fact that it is directly opposite Chiron and Aries. So this new moon, with the new moon is when the sun and the moon are together, right? And then the new moon opposing Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is the what hurts the most. Chiron in Aries has been about woundedness that we've been experiencing around our power, feeling powerless, our agency. woundedness around men, woundedness around anger, around rage, woundedness around all Mars related things. So our sense of individuality, our passions, right? If we've been feeling disconnected from our passions, if we've been feeling like we've been living in a state of disempowerment, if we've been feeling very frustrated and irritated, but we don't know what to do with that energy, well, the Chiron in Aries, directly opposite the new moon in Libra, the new moon in Libra is going to show us how we've been over compromising our individuality. We've been compromising our power. We've been compromising our, personal authority. We've been compromising our passions in order to sustain relationships, in order to please others, in order to keep the peace, in order to avoid conflict, right? So this new moon in Libra, directly opposite Chiron and Aries, there's this energy that it's kind of inviting us to take a deep dive into our most intimate one-on-one relationships and to really ask ourselves, do our relationships, do the people around us, do they inspire us? Do they motivate us? Do they honor our power? Do they support our passions? Okay. Do the relationships that we're engaging in fill us with life? Fill us with excitement? Are they full of desire? Okay. Or are they empty? Are they cold? Do they have us living in a disempowered state? Do they take away our agency? Are we kind of bored? Are we just kind of in them because it looks good on the outside, but on the inside, in the actual experience of the relationship, it feels cold, it feels distant, it feels bored, it feels dead, right? I think one of the pitfalls when we start talking about Libra is we start talking about engaging in partnerships or relationships for shallow reasons or for reasons associated with security, material security. Okay, let's wait. I keep having like these little laggy moments. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? I keep having these little laggy moments, right? Um, so one of the things I was saying is with Libra, right? One of the pitfalls of Libra is engaging in partnerships and relationships for shallow reasons or for reasons that are not really full of passion or desire. They're not really deep or they're not really full of purpose, right? So engaging in relationships or staying in relationships because of financial means, because of social acceptance, because it looks good on paper or because it looks good to the public. One of the pitfalls of Libra is doing things in order to kind of fit in order to be socially accepted, in order to kind of be a part of the status quo, in order to be part of the a certain class of people, in order to be accepted into certain groups of people, right? And we see this with Libra, where Libra will compromise its integrity, will compromise its individuality, will compromise itself in some type of way, will compromise, overly compromise, in order to keep the peace, in order to sustain a relationship, in order to be accepted, socially accepted, right? In order to fit in, things like this. So this new moon in Libra, directly opposite Chiron and Aries, is going to be asking us, why are we in the relationships that we're in? What are we, and not only that, why are we in them? Okay. Um, and how in some ways, this is interesting. This is an interesting download. How are the relationships that we're engaged in a reflection of our own woundedness? New moon in Libra, opposite Chiron in Aries. Are we in trauma bonds? Are we in these codependent connections because we don't know how to be alone? Are we in these connections with people that are powerful, that are wealthy, that are, on some place on the ladder or something? And are we only engaging in those partnerships or relationships because of what we get out of them socially, what we get out of them financially, what we get out of them materially, but we're not actually in them because we're in love, because there's passion there, because there's excitement, because there's an element of desire, right? And are we in these relationships, okay? Are we in these relationships that are only amplifying our woundedness? Are we only in these relationships, okay, that are triggering our state of disempowerment, that are triggering our anger, that are triggering our own personal frustration with the self? I think this new moon in Libra is going to be full of projection. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think we're going to see a lot of people with this new moon in Libra cycle over the next 2 weeks, starting on the 21st, projecting their own inner BS onto others. And one of the things that I've noticed, this is a down, ooh, this is something that I got, ooh, this is some tea right here. One of the things I've noticed is when we refuse to take personal accountability and responsibility for our own state of disempowerment, for our own state of, for our own lack of passion or desire in our life, for our own lack of agency and authority in our life, what is the first and quickest thing that we do? Many of us, we project it and blame it on the people outside of us. We blame it on our parents. We blame it on our kids. We blame it on our spouse. We find some on our job. We find somebody to blame our own shortcomings on, our own lack of personal authority or power. And this new moon is telling you, okay, it's telling all of us, it's nobody's fault but yours. That relationship that you're in is nobody's fault but yours. That lack of passion and desire that you're feeling in your life is nobody's fault but yours. Okay. That lack of agency and authority that you're feeling in your life, baby, that's nobody's fault but yours. You can't blame the people around you. You cannot continue to project, okay, what is missing from within you or what you are lacking, okay, or what you are frustrated about. You can't continue to project and blame that on others. You literally have to take a cold, hard look at yourself and you got to be honest with yourself and you got to ask yourself, okay, right? If I remove everyone in my life, what do I have to stand on? If I remove all these relationships, all these partnerships, all these entanglements that I have, who am I outside of all these things? Because you are not your relationship. You're not your trauma with your parents and your upbringing. You're not your past. You're not that codependent connection that you're in. You're not the people that you think you are outside. That's not you. So outside of all that, okay, outside of everyone else, in every social entanglement, who are you? But more importantly, what do you want? What do you desire? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to go ahead and step into the purpose, step into the mission, step into the passion, step into the individuality, to step into the power that the divine and spirit has waiting for you, right? I think this new moon in Libra is really going to challenge us to kind of take off the mask in some type of way and to really get to the heart of our desires and our passions and what's important to us. So we've been feeling a lot of inspiration in the air. We've been feeling a lot of drive. There's also been a lot of people's intentions and stuff like this coming to the surface. There's been a lot of hidden motives being revealed, a lot of, frenemies coming out of the woodwork. Okay. There's been a lot of, kind of us feeling very keen to the deception around us, or us feeling very keen to the jealousy and very keen to the envy. We've been feeling, what, wait, this person is moving kind of sideways. Wait a minute. This person's acting kind of funky. Wait a minute. I don't know. I feel like this person's energy is a little bit off. I'm trying to figure out what it is that they want from me. Why have we been feeling this collectively? Why have we been feeling this energy? Well, that's because we have Mercury and Mars together in Scorpio. And on this new moon, we are going to have Mercury and Mars exactly in a conjunction at 20 degrees. And 20 degrees, when it comes to degree theory, is what is Scorpio. That's a Scorpio degree, 20 degrees, right? So what's so interesting is even though we have this beautiful new moon at 28 degrees Libra with Venus also in Libra, we love that justice and fairness and love and balance and beauty and integrity and honesty and holding people accountable. Well, guess what? We have Mercury Mars conjunct, right? Kind of inspiring us, kind of motivating us, kind of even, I would say, agitating us to really call shit out for what it is and to really look at things for what they are and to really get down to the nitty gritty, to like look underneath the surface, to really see what are our motives, what are our passions, what are our desires, and how are we moving, and possibly in some type of way, or even other people moving to where, you know, the passions, the desires, the drive, the intentions, the actions, there could be a little bit of an inauthenticity in some type of way. There could be, certain motives, certain drives, certain actions that we're taking or that others are taking, and we don't even know why. We don't even know why we're doing the things that we're doing. We don't even know why we're pursuing this, why we're going after this. So with Mercury Mars in a conjunction for this new moon in Libra, I really feel like there's an invitation to really go deep within yourself and to also kind of put on your put on your like, you know, put on your glasses, put on your Scorpio goggles and be like, okay, what does this person really want from me? Why is this person moving this type of way? What is this person really doing? You know what's so interesting? And this is, I'm a Scorpio. Okay, we're having a little bit of lag, but it's okay. It's because I'm in the middle of the mountains and I'm on Wi-Fi. Okay, so you guys are just gonna have to hang with me. If it lags a little bit, just hang in there. Okay. Um, One of the things I've realized, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a Scorpio sun. I have Sun, Mercury, Venus all in Scorpio, and Pluto. I have Sun, Mercury, Pluto together. And one of the things that I've realized that I'm so good at lying to myself. And I'm really good at deceiving myself and tricking myself into believing that my motives or intentions for certain actions are other than what they actually are. I've had to catch myself doing this so many times. This is still like a struggle that I deal with as a Scorpio. And with Mercury and Mars and Scorpio, I really want everyone to kind of be a detective and investigate. Why is it that you do the things that you do? Why is it that you do the things that you do? And if you are just like honest with yourself, okay. If you're just like honest with yourself and you're able to be very truthful with yourself, you're able to kind of sit with yourself and dig very deep, what you'll realize is that with a lot of the actions that you're taking, a lot of things that you're doing, the desire that's driving it or the motive that's driving it, you'll be surprised. You'll like shock yourself and you'll be like, "Oh damn, that's why I was doing what I was doing. Oh damn, that's why I was pursuing this person. Oh damn, that's why I was desiring this person." Because when we get underneath our desires and our passions and our drives and our motives, we get to the root of them, we can really ask ourselves, are they authentic to who we are? Or are they authentic to who we are? Or are they authentic to the person that we are becoming or the people that we're becoming? Right? I think with Mercury, Mars together, someone said that they've been feeling anger and anxiety all day. Well, yes, because Mercury, the planet of the mind and the planet of the nervous system, right, and the planet of our thoughts and our habits and our behaviors, and Mars, the planet of aggression and war and passion, and desire and power, they're in a conjunction right now. So this is why a lot of folks have been feeling lately, right now, especially with this Mercury Mars conjunction, they've been feeling like their nervous system is overwhelmed. They've been feeling heat being applied to the nervous system. This is what happens when Mercury and Mars are together in the sky. Mars is applying heat to Mercury, right? So Mercury is our nervous system. Mercury is our mind. Mercury is the lungs. Mercury also rules over our hands, our wrists, our shoulders, our upper back. These are all parts of the body ruled by Mercury. And when Mars is on Mercury, well, guess what? Inflammation in the lungs. Our carpal tunnel is flaring up. If we have shoulder injuries or we already have shoulder problems or shoulder issues, guess what? Your shoulder issues are feeling a little funky. Your shoulders are feeling a little weird right now, okay? Someone say that, yeah, look at they have rosacea on their face and it's been flared up. Well, guess what? That's Mars, right? Mars kind of causing the inflammation. So whenever we're dealing with a moment of inflammation or we deal with an injury, we want to take a look at Mars in transit in our own chart in the sky and how it's hitting our own chart. We also want to see what's happening with our Mars because Mars has a lot to do with cuts, with injuries, with flare-ups, with agitation, inflammation in some type of ways, a Mars thing. So with Mercury Mars together, okay, with Mercury Mars together, we're gonna see, with this new moon in Libra, during this new moon in Libra cycle, we're gonna see an increase in lung issues and lung inflammation, so pneumonia, someone said bronchitis, there's a lot of kind of like viruses and stuff going around right now, bacterial, like virus things. So the lungs are going to be under attack for this new moon. So that's just something you want to be very mindful of. Um, what is it? Mullein tea is really, really good for lung health. So highly recommend mullein tea. Traditional Medicines does a really nice herbal blend tea that's good for the lungs. I think it's called Breathe Easy, actually. Yeah, it's by Traditional Medicines. It's called Breathe Easy. That one's a really amazing, especially if you're dealing with any kind of lung issues, okay? But yeah, with Mercury, Mars together in Scorpio, health-wise, there's definitely going to be some issues or some challenges that we're going to experience, or some people are going to experience around the nervous system, around the lungs, and things like this, or even around the head, because Mars does rule the head and the brain, okay? And Mercury, Mars together, that's what we got. Headaches, migraines, lung inflammation, your carpal tunnel's acting up, okay? Just be mindful of injury right now as well, okay? Just want to be very mindful of injury and stuff like that with Mercury Mars together. You want to slow down over the next 2 weeks. No driving fast, no driving like a crazy person. Especially if you have anything, if you're a fixed sign, okay? If you're Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, if you have anything around 20 degrees Scorpio, or 20 degrees of a fixed sign, because it is going to be, if you have anything around 20 degrees of Taurus, Mercury, Mars is opposing you. If you have anything around 20 degrees Leo or Aquarius, you're getting squared by the Mercury, Mars conjunction that's happening in Scorpio, okay? So you just want to be mindful. But yeah, okay, so I talked about that aspect. So the new moon in Libra, um, it's interesting because we're also going to see a lot of people initiating some kind of new beginning and actually going in a new direction, but it's gonna come with maybe some challenge or some hardship or some difficulty. It's gonna feel a little clunky. Also, we may see some very lucky, blessed opportunities for folks with this new moon because we have the new moon squaring Jupiter. And if you put the new moon on the rising, if you put the new moon in the first house on the rising, what you get in the 10th house is you get Jupiter in Cancer. And Jupiter's forming a superior square to the new moon in Libra. So the new moon is at 28 degrees Libra, squaring Jupiter, who's in the 10th house away from the new moon. So with Jupiter in the 10th house, we're going to see a lot of people kind of going in some new kind of direction, taking a leap of faith, getting a lucky opportunity, reaching for more, asking for more, becoming more, becoming more, stepping into a higher position. Also, the new moon square Jupiter, that's also amplifying, the legal energy or taking someone to court because Jupiter is the judge. And Jupiter has a lot to do with legal matters and stuff like this. So the new moon squaring Jupiter, we're going to see people consulting some kind of some kind of professional. The new moon square Jupiter, you're either going to be talking to a lawyer, to a doctor, to a therapist. You're going to be talking to a mentor, a life coach. You're going to be talking to a grandparent. There's a lot of people who are going to be interacting with someone Jupiterian in nature with this during this new moon cycle. That's part of a new paradigm for them. That person may be the one that's like opening up the door or that's giving them the opportunity or that's helping them along and guiding them in some type of way towards this new beginning or towards this new becoming. So I think it's really interesting that this new moon is squaring Jupiter. We all need to be very open and very receptive to Jupiterian people in our life. This could be friends that are foreigners. This can be a coach, a mentor, a teacher. This can be some kind of spiritual guide. This could be a grandparent, a great grandparent. This can be, a business professional, a professor, a lawyer, a doctor, somebody like this, okay? With the new moon square Jupiter. We've got to be very open and very receptive to what Jupiter is calling us to do and where Jupiter wants us to go. One of the things that's happening with Jupiter right now is Jupiter is stationing. So Jupiter is not moving. He is not moving forward anymore because Jupiter is soon to start retrograding. So Jupiter, he's gonna start retrograding, I believe, at 25 degrees Cancer, and he's at 24. So he's kind of stationed. He's gonna be sitting around 24, 25 degrees Cancer until like the end of the year when he goes, well, until like the end of the year, kind of. He's gonna start retrograding. He's gonna start going backwards, but he's gonna be sitting here around this like 24, 25 degrees Cancer. And I think it's gonna be really interesting because one of the cool things that we have coming up in the next month, so during Scorpio season, is we're gonna have like new moon, full moon stuff, and also Jupiter and Saturn. So we're gonna have new moon, full moon, Scorpio stuff. That's going to be making aspects to the nodes in the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, and also Saturn and Jupiter who are coming into a trine. So we have Saturn at 26 degrees Pisces and Jupiter's at 24 degrees Cancer, and they are going to be forming a beautiful trine with one another. Okay, trines are aspects ruled by Jupiter. They have a lot to do with grace. They have a lot to do with harmony. They have a lot to do with, luck, opportunity, with forward movement. Also, kind of like divine connection or divine union or divine partnership when Jupiter and Saturn are in a trine with each other, right? So, Saturn is a planet of career, he's a planet of responsibility, of obligation. Saturn is a planet that's connected to our kind of karmic duty when it comes to society. But Saturn's also, the greater malefic, meaning that he has a lot to do with difficulty and hardship. So, struggle, sacrifice, deprivation, lack, these are all Saturn things. But when Saturn forms this beautiful trine with Jupiter, what we get this moment of abundance, this moment of opportunity. Jupiter's a planet of luck, of abundance, of expansion, of blessings, of all the good, everything that's good in our lived experience, right? Well, when Jupiter and Saturn form a trine with each other, Jupiter and Saturn are talking to each other, and they're gonna be dishing out rewards for people that have been learning their lessons, for people that have been integrating whatever Saturn and Jupiter have been trying to teach them. Well, since Saturn's been in Pisces over the last 2.5 years, but also since Jupiter's been in Cancer over the last, when did he go into Cancer? Since like May. So over the last like 4 or 5 months. So Saturn is going to be like, all right, Saturn and Jupiter are going to commune the judges. Saturn and Jupiter are the judges. So Jupiter is he's the benevolent judge. He's the judge that rewards us for good deeds done. He exalts us. He honors us. He gives us, divine recognition and stuff like this. So Jupiter has a lot to do with graduations, like when you get your diploma, right? Or when you even when you have like a celebration, a coming of age party, that's like Jupiter things. When you get your first communion or you do some kind of religious ceremony in order to become somebody, significant in your religious doctrine, your religious practice, that's Jupiter. Where Saturn is the punisher. So Saturn is the difficult judge. Saturn is like the principal. Saturn is like, you know, he doesn't really exalt you, but he will punish you. Like Saturn, if he deems that you haven't been doing good, right? He sends you to jail, he sends you to prison, he kind of like punishes you. He's a judge that has a lot to do, has more to do with punishment, where Jupiter is the judge that has more to do with like reward. Well, the fact that they're coming into a trine with each other kind of tells us that, we're going to start to see a lot of people making these big changes or these big moves that are kind of like part of their destiny, that are part of their karma, or even there's going to be certain karmic opportunities or certain karmic blessings that are coming, especially for those that have been doing their work, right? They've been putting in the work and stuff as Saturn and Jupiter come into a trine. We're going to talk more about this next month. When we get into Scorpio season, but I just want you all to be aware of this trine formation. It's something I've been talking about over the last few months. I want you guys to be very aware of this trine formation between Saturn and Jupiter because it's a very, very important one. I was actually born in my own natal chart. I have Saturn trine Jupiter, so I have Saturn in Sag, trine Jupiter in Aries. I was born during a Saturn Jupiter trine, and when people have that in their birth chart, like myself, they feel this big call to do something great. They feel this big call to bring spirituality, to bring religion, to bring faith or their beliefs to like society in some type of way, right? That's that Jupiter trine Saturn. So something to be very mindful of as this formation perfects in the sky over the next month. But we'll talk more about that, okay? But let's get back to New Moon and Libra. Sorry. If I get on a tangent, you guys got to catch me, okay? Because I start talking astrology, and sometimes I'll get wrapped up in certain aspects that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. So the new moon in Libra, okay? Why did I start talking about that? Oh yeah, I started talking about that because the new moon's going to square Jupiter. So that square to Jupiter, right? The new moon in Libra. Ooh, it's so interesting. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just got a download. New moon in Libra squaring Jupiter. What relationships, what partnerships, what over compromising that you're doing, what keeping the peace, what complacency, okay, what complacency, even laziness, I hate to say it, but Libra is one of the signs of laziness, okay, is holding you back from expansion, from reaching towards your goals and your dreams, from breaking free, from liberating yourself. To me, the new moon in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer is telling me there's outdated relationships, there's outdated partnerships, there's outdated social entanglements, there's outdated contracts. This could even be karmic contracts. This doesn't have to be a partnership or relationship. This can be some kind of contract that you've signed with a job. This can be a business partnership that you've signed with someone. This can be a business agreement. This could even be like some kind of business contract that you've agreed to over X amount of years or whatever. And you're like, I can't do this no more. This is taking me away from my path. This is wasting my time. This is draining my energy. This isn't aligned with my passions, right? And we feel like we got to break free from it in some type of way. I really do think that this new moon in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer is kind of like, if you want that growth and expansion, if you want that luck, if you want that opportunity, if you want that movement, then you got to liberate yourself and free yourself from some kind of contract, some kind of business, karmic contract, partnership, relationship thing, love thing. I don't know, something. There's something that we need to release or clear out or let go of in order for us to kind of like break through and break free. Okay. This is a separate message I have coming through for some folks. Okay. This is a separate message, but this is connected to the new moon in Libra. Okay. Because some of you need to hear this. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. You're changing. You're evolving. You're going in a new direction. You're becoming, and you want them to come with you, but they can't. They can't. Because your narrative, your story with them is done. And in order for you to evolve into the next phase of who you're meant to become, a big part of that is releasing the connection, the relationship, the partnership, the friendships, the whatever, the social groups, the social entanglements that you've been identifying with. Because those people, I'm paused right now because this is paused. It says, okay, we're back. Okay. Because those people, those partnerships, those friendships, those connections are a reflection of the old you. Okay. No, I paused. When it when it paused, I paused. I stopped talking. I didn't say nothing. I just was like, I was holding my thought. Because those people, those connections, those friendships, those relationships, those partnerships, those business ideas, those social entanglements, okay? They're a reflection of the old you. And they're going to hold you accountable to the old you as well. So that's the thing, right? When we are in a space of evolution, pause due to poor okay, I'm back. When we are in a space of evolution and when we are, stepping into our authenticity and we're stepping into our own personal becoming, okay, it's natural for us to go through a certain level of death within us. It's natural for us to go through a certain level of death, right? But the hardest part about that death is when things around us are also needing to die. And when the things around us cannot come with us. This can be environments that we find ourselves in. This can be the partnerships and friendships and relationships that we're entertaining. This can be our living situation. This could even be jobs that we have, right? That are not in alignment with the person that we're becoming or our authentic true self, right? So this is why so many people, their spiritual awakening is either triggered by this really intense like loss and ending that they go through, whether it be with like a relationship or career, or something like this, or when they start going through their spiritual awakening and they start stepping into their authenticity, they start waking up to become their true self, there's things in their lives that start to die, that start to exit or that like leave, right? Because it's part of that purging process. It's because your frequency is evolving. Your frequency, your vibration, your energy is changing. It's evolving. So everything that used to mirror that frequency, okay? Everything that used to mirror the frequency of your old you no longer resonates. And over time, there becomes more and more and more dissonance with the energetic frequency of things of old and your own energetic becoming and your new frequency that you're trying to align with. We get more and more and more dissonance until there's a breaking point. That's what happens. It's part of the natural process. And I really feel this new moon in Libra is kind of, telling us, it's kind of showing us, it's kind of initiating, it's kind of asking us to kind of take action and to move towards the things, okay, towards the lifestyles, towards the identities, towards the people, towards the places that are an energetic match with our new sense of self or with the new people that we're becoming and the new identities and the authentic self that we're stepping into, okay? And it's tough. It's painful. Okay. It's heartbreaking because for many people, right, that spiritual awakening and that process, it also comes with a lot of grief. And it comes with a lot of shedding. And it comes with a lot of like endings. And it comes with a lot of like tragedy and loss at times. And we got to honor that. It's part of this natural process. Every year, every year, the earth dies and it gets reborn again. Every year, we get what? We get fall and we get winter when everything dies and everything goes cold. And then we get spring and we get summer when everything gets reborn and there's new life. And then what happens? Fall comes, winter comes, everything dies. And then the next year we get spring and summer and we get new life. It's a cycle. We have to honor this cycle. Libra season, Libra is the initiation of fall. It's the beginning of the season when everything starts to die. All the leaves turn brown. The trees, they shed their plumage starting Libra season, right? Libra season is the initiation of death. It's our journey to the underworld. Why do we think the sun is fallen in the sign of Libra, right? The sun, which is the life bringer, which is the illumination, which is the heart of summer, the sun, Leo season, okay? So it goes into its fall in the sign of Libra, really weak in the sign of Libra because the sun begins to die and lose its light in the sign of Libra. This is why the sun is fallen in the sign of Libra, right? So with that being said, since we have this new moon with the sun and the moon together in Libra, right? We have to accept the fact that we are in a season where things are shedding, where there's endings, where there's death around, where whatever is not meant to come with us, whatever we need to shed in terms of our own plumage, whatever is outdated, whatever is old, whatever, it has decay on it and stuff like this, it's got to go. It's got to go, right? So that the rest of the tree can grow and be healthy, right? We got to cut off all that is sick, all that is draining us, all that's exhausting us, all that is, keeping us complacent, all that isn't aligned with our passions, all that isn't full of integrity and truth and things like this. We have to cut that off, right? And so I really do feel like this new moon in Libra is kind of like it's an initiation into this process of purging that we need to go through collectively. And, even like speaking societally wise, right? Like if you're here in the States, especially, we are in late stage capitalism. Like we are in this time and place right now here in the States where the our culture and our country and like the economy and even the social fabric that we've known is at this breaking point. And it's terrifying, it's scary, but it's also exciting because the United States has been living a lie since its inception. You know what I mean? The United States was built on a lie, okay? Our country is a mass deception. We've all been thinking that we've been living in America the free and it's so beautiful and it's a democracy, baby. And the truth is out that America is not so free as we thought it was. America is not so liberal and liberated and equal as we thought it was because we're seeing the ghosts and the skeletons that we've been hiding in the closet coming out to feast right now, right? Racism, prejudice, bigotry, hatred of women, hatred of people of color. Like God, like what does this country not hate? They hate themselves. Okay? All the MAGA people and all this, their own self-hatred they're projecting on all these people, all the minority communities or all the rest of us that we're just trying to get by. We're trying to bring love, peace, and truth to earth, you know? You guys hear me? We're over here trying to bring love, peace, and truth down here to earth, trying to bring heaven to earth. But evil is rearing its ugly head right now. Let's wait for the there we go. Is it better? Are we back? I keep having these little moments of lag. Okay, we're back. So I think it's important right now that we have to also honor the fact that not only like individually many of us are going through a death and rebirth, but they're like collectively, society wise, the world as we not the world as we know it, but here in the States, our country's kind of going through this, ending where, it's kind of scary, like, so I think we need to honor where we kind of are collectively finding ourselves, okay? Very important, okay? So, all right, let's get back to the new moon in Libra. So, one of the things that I do love about this new moon is I love that the new moon, I'm actually going to share my screen on here. Let me share my screen here. I'm going to share my screen on, here we go. On Zoom, I'm sharing my screen. So, those that are going to watch the playback of this, they can go back and watch and they can see what I'm talking about when it comes to the actual chart. Okay. Hold on, where's my battery at? Oh, okay, I'm good with battery. Okay. Um, all right, so let's get back to new moon in Libra. So one of the things I do like about this new moon is I love that Venus is at 9 degrees, and I love that Venus is not really making any aspects. She's kind of like floating. She's kind of like doing her own thing. She's kind of like standing alone. She is the ruler of this new moon in Libra, and she's at a Sagittarius degree, which is 9, which is kind of like about being open to fresh new perspectives and values. I think this new moon is an invitation to renew our vows for those of you that are married, but also to renew our value system, to renew our sense of self-worth, our sense of self-esteem, to even renew our sense of beauty or our sense of fashion. Like maybe well, this resonates with me actually. Maybe we've been thinking of changing our style in some type of way. We've been thinking about changing our hair or changing, what we're wearing or even changing, our relationship with beauty and Venus in some type of way. This new moon in Libra is an invitation to kind of expand and go beyond your current, paradigms when it comes to all things Venus. Your values when it comes to love and partnership, your values when it comes to your own self-worth and self-esteem, your relationship with money, your relationship with food. These are all Venus things through the sign of Taurus, money and food, Venus things. And also your relationship with your own beauty. I really do feel like this new moon is inviting us to really take a look at where we're lacking in relationship with self, and where we're lacking in how we esteem ourselves, how we value ourselves. And we can really see, okay, the the best benchmark, the best benchmark for our own sense of self-worth and for our own values and for our own sense of self-respect, okay? And like our own sense of self-love, the best benchmark is the relationships that we engage in and their quality, okay? If we are engaged in relationships that are toxic, that are abusive, that are controlling, that are unhealthy, that are unfair, that are empty, that are cold, that tells us that what? We don't love ourselves. We don't love ourselves. We don't love ourselves. If we are engaging in partnerships and connections and relationships with people that don't value us, that are mean to us, that try to control us and try to abuse us, and we participate and continue to engage in those relationships, and we accept that neglect, we accept the abuse, we accept the rejection, we accept the way that the relationships disempower us, we accept the way that the relationships take advantage of us, we accept, then guess what? What does that tell us? We don't love ourselves because we believe that this is what we deserve. This is what we deserve. Your relationships that you engage in are going to tell you. Got a moment of lag here. Hold on. The relationships that you engage in are going to tell you the amount of self love that you have. And this could also be at work. This could be with clients. This doesn't have to be just in your romantic life or your family life or your social life. This could be at work with clients too. You know, you're constantly being walked all over. You let a boss disrespect you. You let people taking advantage of you at your job. You let them give you all their work, right? So you're over here hustling and working and why? Because why? You don't value yourself. You don't appreciate yourself. You think that the only way you feel valued or appreciated, you think the only way that you can feel worthy, right, is by being disrespected, is by overcompensating, is by doing more. So this new moon in Libra, okay, take a look at your relationships and your partnerships. Take a look at the connections around you and really ask yourself, what does this connection, what is these relationships, what are these partnerships, what are they showing me about myself? Are they reflecting self-love and worth and self-respect? Or are they reflecting woundedness? Are they reflecting disempowerment? Are they reflecting, a lack of self-love? A lack of self-love. We got to ask ourselves. We got to be honest. I'm just waiting for the lag to stop. Hold on. We got to ask ourselves this question and we got to be honest. We got to be honest. That's where this Mercury, Mars, and Scorpio comes in. This kind of, we got to be full of integrity with this new moon. Sorry, you guys, that we're getting a little bit of lag. I'm just waiting for the lag to stop. Are we back yet? Are we back? You guys see me? Let me close out of other things. Hold on. Can you guys see me? Sorry, we were just like, there's like a little moment of lag on Instagram. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back? We had some people drop off because it was lagging. I think we're back. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Are we back? Okay, cool. Back then gone again. Okay, yeah, I know. It's like yeah, it's really bad. I'm in the mountains right now, so I took a little weekend trip to California. So okay, it's back. Okay, cool. So yes, with this new moon in Libra, we need to really ask ourselves, what are our relationships reflecting back to us? Are they reflecting love and passion and joy and excitement and expansion? Or are they reflecting woundedness, pain, a lack of self-love, rejection, and things like this? Okay, new moon in Libra. Um, all right. Happy to see you caught this by surprise. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, let's talk about the new moon for the elements and for the signs now. Let's see, how far are we in? We are okay. We're about an hour in. We're about an hour in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the new moon for the elements based on your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can just use your moon, or I'm sorry, your sun. Use your sun if you don't know your rising, okay? Um, so who is having the best new moon? What rising signs are having the best new moon? The air sign risings, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini rising, okay? This new moon is all about you. It's about your identity. It's about your faith. It's about opportunity. It's about luck. It's about taking risks. It's about you really taking center stage in your life with this new moon in Libra, okay? There are opportunities, possibly financially, when it comes to work and career, when it comes to money, also when it comes to health, there's like good stuff that can happen for you because Jupiter and how is in houses 2, 6, or 10 for air sign risings. So this new moon is happening in houses 1, 5, or 9. These are all the best. These are the best houses in the chart, right? This can involve your children. This new moon can involve like, good things with the children. This can involve starting a new business. This new moon could also involve taking a vacation, going on a trip or planning a trip, going back to school, educating yourself, doing something new for yourself, right? This new moon could also be about, feeling more confident, feeling more assured, getting recognition, getting reward, getting acknowledgement that you deserve, right? Getting possibly a promotion or something, or even a new opportunity coming in for you. This could also be about love and romance. So I'm also kind of seeing for air sign risings, this new moon is bringing it in like some kind of new friendships or new connections or even evolving current ones. So if you have relationships that you've been in for a while, maybe you've been, partnered and it's time you want to make it more serious, you want to turn them into a boyfriend or girlfriend, or you want to get engaged, or you want to turn them into a life partner and things like this. This new moon is kind of pushing us in that direction. It's kind of opening up that door. It's kind of initiating that for air sign risings. Okay, so there's going to be a big focus on the self, a big focus on your character, your personality, a big focus on your faith and your belief systems. If you've been feeling kind of like stagnant or kind of bored, or if you've been feeling kind of depressed or sad or kind of like defeated and things like this new moon in Libra is an invitation for air sign risings to connect to things that inspire them, that make them feel passionate, and to also air sign risings connect to people that are good for you, that inspire you, that motivate you, that celebrate you, that exalt you, right? This new moon, air sign risings, this is for you guys. If you, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini rising, if you are trying to entertain partnerships, sustain partnerships, if you're trying to, please love me, please see me, please notice me, please, if you're do it, stop. Okay, stop it. You need to be connecting to people that are clear about you, that want you now. Not tomorrow, not 5 years from now, not 10 years from now. You don't need to be connecting to people that are egotistical, that are selfish, people that are a victim, that have some kind of trauma narrative, so they can't show up for you because they're too busy in their own life, playing victim, feeling disempowered, being distracted, whatever. Okay, this is for you, air sign risings, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini rising. If they are not ready, if they're not there for you, if they're wishy-washy, if they're half-ass, okay? If they expect you to wait, if they're unclear about you, if they don't know what the hell they want for themselves and whatever, stop waiting. Let them go. Move on. It's time to connect to new people that see you, that celebrate you, that admire you, that love you, that are ready and that are willing. It's time. All right? Libra, Gemini, Aquarius rising. You need people that build you up, that do not put you down. You need people that inspire you, that motivate you, that don't block you, that aren't trying to compete with you and things like this. Libra, Aquarius, Gemini rising, okay? This is gonna be a feel-good new moon for you guys. I really do feel like the air sign risings are being shown the path forward, especially when it comes to work and career and money. I really feel like this new moon squaring Jupiter is really showing you guys, like, okay, air sign risings, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius rising, like, this is where the money's at. This is where your spiritual calling is at. This is where your career calling is at. This is where, you have some skills, where you have some talents, where you have some gifts that you can actually use, okay, to create wealth in the world or to create wealth for yourself and build towards something. Okay, very, very important. One more thing I do want to say though, because of the new moon opposite Chiron, and that Chiron is occupying houses 11, 7, and 3. I will tell you right now, air sign risings, this new moon is going to show you the people that are hurting you, or the relationships that are hurting you, or that are a reflection or a projection of your own woundedness. So if you have friendships that are just not in alignment, if you have partnerships, relationships, individual one-on-one connections that are not in alignment, if you have family, sibling stuff that's not in alignment with your identity, those people don't support you, they don't see you, they don't celebrate you, whatever, 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 you gotta let these people go. You right? Like I really do feel like air sign risings, that Chiron opposite the new moon, that Chiron occupying houses 11, 7, and 3 is going to show you where you have communication wounding, where you're not speaking up for yourself or you're asserting yourself. It's going to show you where you've given your power away to a connection or relationship or a partnership where you're silencing yourself because you don't want to like offend anybody and things like this. So it's very, very important. Air sign risings, this new moon in Libra, it kind of wants you to reclaim your power, reclaim your authenticity, reclaim your identity from any relationships that are not really serving a higher function, or they're not part of like the person that you're becoming, or they simply just don't celebrate you and see you and love you and they're not ready for you. Okay. All right. That's for you guys. All right. We're going to work our way backwards actually. Let me go here. So earth sign risings. Ooh, I love this for you guys. So moving on. This is for Virgo. Move this window away from the application. That was weird. Hold on. What's going on here? Give me a second. Okay, so air sign risings. Why is it saying this? There's no window here. Please move this window from the shared application. Okay. Hmm. That's weird. Give me a second. So Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus rising. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, there we go. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo rising. This is occupying houses. So this new moon in Libra is happening in houses 2, 6, and 10. These are your money and career houses. So if you are a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo rising, there's an opportunity for you to initiate something new when it comes to like your health and your habits. So this could be going in a new direction when it comes to your self-care, adopting healthy habits, going back to the gym, working out, eating healthier, kind of being a little bit more disciplined or self-controlled when it comes to like what you're doing. So maybe this is a good time, this new moon is a good time to, let go of some kind of unhealthy toxic habit and kind of like, be a little bit more disciplined or be a little bit more self-controlled. And it may be a little hard though, because the new moon is squaring Jupiter. So that the new moon square Jupiter is an opportunity for like indulgence, especially it's a new moon in Libra with Venus in Libra. We may want to indulge. We may want to just engage in pleasure, but earth sign risings, you really got to ask yourself, if that's what's best for you, okay? If that's what's best for you. You got to do what's best for you, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus rising for this new moon. You got to do what's best for you, okay? So if this includes like changing your diet, cutting something out of your diet, letting go of sugar, letting go of carbs, getting a physical trainer, really investing in yourself, I think that's really important. Earth sign risings are being invited to invest in themselves in a new type of way when it comes to this new moon, okay? Also, we may see some kind of expansion or growth when it comes to like your career opportunity. So this can be about going in a new direction when it comes to your career, or even like setting a new foundation and like planning to like launch or begin or start something new. But this could also be about like a promotion or upward mobility or some kind of expansion and growth when it comes to your career life. So the thing that the Earth sign risings have, which is so interesting, is they have Uranus in Pluto. They have Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. That's also gone into houses 2, 6, and 10. So Earth sign risings, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn rising, you guys are really kind of like stepping into a new way of like showing up in the world and like servicing people, and like a new sense of like personal authority, and also a new sense of like, or new ways of sustaining yourself, new ways of accumulating wealth, new ways of making money, new ways of, like providing service or providing something to the world or offering something to the world in a way that's gonna like give back to you. So if you are an Earth sign rising, you've been feeling called to like change your career in some type of way, change your work in some type of way, go in like a new direction when it comes to those things. You've been feeling very inspired, very motivated, you've been getting ideas, right? And things like this. I think this new moon in Libra is an invitation to either get that going, if you're not ready, to at least like start planning to move in that direction. Okay. I kind of like the new moon in Libra and Venus though in these houses, in houses 2, 6, and 10 for you guys. Because to me, you may get lucky, you may get blessed with some like more with like a money making opportunity or something. You may get blessed with like a job or promotion, or even if you're experiencing challenges and issues in the workplace with the boss, things like this. Venus's presence with the new moon in Libra could also make it very easy or very graceful in some type of way, to where, or like not make it easier or graceful, but it can like bring peace. So let's say you've been dealing with drama at your job. Well, this new moon in Libra can dissipate that drama, right? Let's say you've been dealing with conflict with the boss. This new moon in Libra can squash that conflict, where everything gets easy and everything gets like graceful and everything is like, peachy again. So it may be a very subtle shift or a subtle change, or maybe like a subtle influence that this new moon has. But I also think it's very important that we recognize, what Venus is trying to do in houses 2, 6, and 10. Another thing that I'm kind of getting for Earth sign risings with the new moon in Libra in houses 2, 6, and 10. If you've been feeling like taken advantage of by others, if you are dealing with weird financial entangled situations, if you are dealing with a boss that takes advantage of you, that walks all over you, if you're dealing with coworkers that, ostracize you and bully you and things like this new moon is an invitation for you guys to stand up for yourself and say something and do something about it. Mercury and Mars are in houses 3, 7, and 11. So Earth sign risings, they're feeling inspired to like talk their ish, to like address an enemy, to like call somebody out, and to like take action towards some sense of injustice or unfairness that's happening with the way that they make their money, with like a coworker, with like a boss, with like what's going on in the workplace, something like this. Okay. Because of that Mercury Mars energy, kind of, I feel like the Mercury Mars energy is really inviting you guys, Earth sign risings, to like not be so complacent or not be so like passive or not just like let things happen, right? I think, this energy, this new moon is really inviting Earth signs to kind of like speak up and speak out and to address the issues or problems that they have with others in some type of way. Okay, I really do feel that, and I think you guys need to honor that. But yeah, this new moon is happening in houses 2, 6, and 10. So these houses. The 10th house is like a pretty good house. The sixth house is a challenging house. The second house is a neutral house. This isn't going to be like an amazing, great new moon for Earth sign rise, but it's not going to be a bad new moon either. I think this is a very neutral new moon. You definitely want to see what you have around 28 degrees of an Earth's of Libra or um yeah, you want to see what you have around 28 degrees of Libra in general, everybody, but you want to see what you have around there. And if the new moon is making a trine to any other air signs, if you're an earth sign rising, if you have anything around 28 degrees of another air sign, of Gemini or Aquarius, this new moon could be trining that. You may experience like a blessing. You may experience something lucky or very benevolent or something magical, okay? If you have anything trining an air sign. But you also want to be very mindful of, I think this is for everybody, but this is kind of coming up for earth signs as well. If you have anything in the cardinal signs, like if you have anything in Cancer, Aries, or Capricorn, that's getting squared by the new moon. Cancer, Aries, Capricorn. Yeah, because the new moon is squaring Jupiter. You want to be a little mindful of that because this new moon, I feel like that's square to Jupiter. I don't know. I feel like this new moon is kind of giving giving Earth sign risings. No, it's not giving. That's not the right word. It's kind of forcing some kind of challenges or some kind of issues or something with like the cardinal houses with your like Cancer, Aries, Capricorn, Libra houses. So I feel like the new moon squaring this Jupiter, but if you have like a new moon squaring anything in another cardinal sign, there may be some kind of confrontation or there may be some kind of challenge or maybe something that you got to like confront that's going to force you to take action in some type of way and you can't avoid it. So I don't know where that came from. I'm just going to go ahead and share that with you guys because it came through as a download. Okay. That's for Earth sign rising. So yeah, so Earth sign risings, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo rising. Houses 2, 6, and 10 are being activated for you with this new moon. This is about your public image, your public reputation, your career direction, your bosses, your leadership, your father, your health, your pets, your daily routines and habits, your job, your co-workers, your clients, also your enemies, open enemies, six house things, your food, your diet, your relationship with money, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your bank account, your value system, your talents, your gifts, your skills, second house. All right, that's where this new moon is hitting you guys. Houses 2, 6, and 10. Okay. If you are an earth sign rising, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus rising. All right, let's move on to fire sign risings. Talking about the new moon in Libra for fire sign risings. And then last but not least, we're going to finish up with water sign risings. All right, so fire sign, y'all have fire sign risings, I think, are having one of the best new moons. Fire sign rising, Leo, Aries, Sag rising. Houses 3, 7, and 11 are being activated for you guys. These are all your relationship houses. This is all your love and your romance houses. Okay. I really feel like the fire signs are outside for this new moon. I feel like they're connecting to people, they're connecting to new people, they're meeting new people, they're interacting with new people, they're asking people on dates, they're trying to hang out with their best friend. Okay, they're busy. Okay. Fire sign rising. This new moon is an invitation for you guys to take a look at your communication skills and where you are lacking. Okay. You are being invited to be a little bit more nice and compassionate with this new moon, a little bit more understanding. And you're also being invited to take a close look at the communication factor in your relationships, relationships, to see what needs to evolve or change. How can you bring integrity, fairness, compassion, listening, open ears to your relationship life? And how can you engage in communication in a more productive, diplomatic way in order for you to find more success in your relationships? Leo, Sag, Aries rising. Okay, listen, J-Lo, it's not all about you, baby girl. You're the problem. Mrs. Leo Sun, Leo rising. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to ask for what you want. You don't know how to reciprocate. Actually, J-Lo, you don't know how to reciprocate. All you know how to do in your relationships is take. Nothing is ever good enough for you, J-Lo. Right? It don't you Jesus himself could come down here and you will still look for something wrong in the relationship. Okay? I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on. Okay, that should fix it. I think that should fix it. Why is it doing that? Please move this window away from the shared application. What window? I don't see a window in the shared application. Please move this window away from the shared application. I don't understand what window. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what this thing is saying, but I can't. I should have just got a Mac, honestly. I don't know why I got please move this window away from the shared application. What window? Hold on, I'm trying to fix something on Zoom. Give me a second, you guys. I'm gonna get back to roasting J-Lo. I'm gonna get back to roasting J-Lo in a bit. Okay. Okay, I think it's good. Yeah, so I think it's important, fire sign risings, just like J-Lo, like you have to see where you're the problem in your relationships. Like the new moon in Libra is an invitation to really hold yourself accountable and see how you're contributing to the problem or the issue in your relationships by not reciprocating, by not being open and honest, by not really investing in your partners, not investing in others. Like, it's really interesting because I really do feel like this new moon in Libra for fire sign risings, it's like understanding that relationships are a two-sided experience and they're a two-way street. It's not just about what you can get or what you can take or what the person can do for you. It's really about, when you really love someone and when you really understand what relationships and partnerships is about, it's really about what you contribute to the whole, what you contribute to the partnership. It's not just about you, it's about us, right? And what us means. And I really do think that this new moon in Libra with Venus in Libra is kind of showing, it's interesting because we have this Chiron in houses 9, 5, and 1 for fire sign risings. Um, so there's some kind of woundedness that I think this new moon in Libra is trying to show fire sign risings. It's like in some way these your relationships can be showing you with this new moon where you're personally hurting, where you're disconnected from yourself, where you're disconnected from your passions, where you have some kind of woundedness with belief or faith, where you have some kind of woundedness around your identity, around your creative ambitions, around your inner child. I really do feel like this new moon in Libra can possibly show fire sign risings where the relationships are reflecting some kind of individual personal woundedness. And, I really advise fire sign risings, Aries, Leo, Sag rising, to be mindful of how you're showing up in your relationships and also to be mindful of what your relationships are showing you right now about yourself. Okay. And this doesn't just have to be about love. This can also be about your relationship with your kids. This can be about your relationship with your spouse. This can be about your relationship with, your job, a boss, your coworkers, your friends, right? In some way, these relationships possibly could be reflecting an element of you that's like wounded or that's hurt, right? And you have to kind of take a look and see that. You don't want to go ahead and project, you don't want to avoid, you don't want to ignore, you want to dive in deep and you want to communicate. I think, you know, there's tremendous healing opportunity for fire sign risings in the realm of relationships with this new moon. Tremendous. And I also think this new moon is trying to get fire sign risings to approach partnership and connection and relationship building in a new way, right? Don't just throw in the towel and burn shit down when it's not working out, right? Don't give up so easily. I really feel like fire sign risings are being invited to really like take a look at the way that they're connecting to others and to really ask themselves like, if this person is really valuable and if this person's really, if I cherish this person, how can I be more present and be more open in the relationship? And how can I honor the other person's power, the other person's individuality, the other person's needs? And how can I really reciprocate in the realm of relationship, right? And also, how can I ask for what I need or ask for what I want in the space of relationships, right? Like I also think that fire sign risings, they can be very emotionally negligent. The reason why fire sign risings, Aries, Leo, Sag rising, can be a little emotionally negligent, or they can be a little emotionally disconnected, or they can avoid the emotional experience of what's happening in the relationships. It's because they have water signs ruling houses 4, 8, and 12. So fire sign risings are not trying to talk about their feelings. They're trying to hide them. They're trying to avoid them. They're trying to bury them. They're trying to move past them. They're trying to ignore them. They're trying to just, all right, let's just not talk about it. Let's just move on. But I really do think, come on, Jupiter's in Cancer, new moon square Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Scorpio. It feels like this new moon is digging up emotional ish from the past for fire sign risings. And it's kind of showing them, this new moon will be showing you, Leo, Aries, Sag rising, how you are continuing to possibly sabotage your relationships, how you're continuing to not show up authentically in your relationships, how you're continuing to not, I'm going to repeat that because there was a little bit of a moment of pause, how you're continuing to not show up authentically in your relationships, or even how you're avoiding relationships, fire sign risings, because you don't want to take a look at what's hurting. You don't want to take a look at that betrayal, that thing from that, what you went through in the past, how you got heartbroken, how whatever, whatever. Like there's some stuff that you got to look deeply into, that you got to investigate and explore around your emotional patterning, and how that emotional patterning is continuing to negatively impact the quality of your relationships. Okay. This is a fire sign roast for fire sign risings, including J-Lo, because I really do think that this new moon it's like, it's never just the other person's fault. Never. It can never be the other person's fault. 100%. A lot of people will be, oh no, it's their fault. It's what they did. But no, it takes two, babe, right? It takes two to tango. It takes two to participate in a relationship. If a relationship goes south and goes to shit, it cannot be 100% the other person's fault. You partook in that in some type of way. You participated in that in some type of way. And you got to be honest. You got to be honest with that. The quicker that you could be honest with that, the quicker that you can hold yourself accountable, the quicker that you can heal and move through and actually manifest and actually participate and form healthy, good relationships and partnerships with others that are built on open communication, that are built on vulnerability, emotional vulnerability, to where, the only time that you experience emotion in a relationship isn't when you're just mad and angry or hurting, and where you go off. Leo, Aries, Sag, rising, and moon and sun. Okay, I'm gonna throw moon, sun in there too, because the moon, oh my God, when the moon is in a fire sign, the villains, the relationship villains. Leo moon, Sag moon, Aries moon, the relationship villains. I hate to say it, it is what it is. But it's the truth. You gotta look, you gotta go deeper. You gotta ask yourself, how am I participating in my own self-destructive habits and patterning in relationships? Okay? I'm telling you, it's the fire signs that are the villains when it comes to relationships. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It's what I've seen. It's what I've seen in my own astrological practice. I do not speak from just reading books. No, I speak as someone who's been doing consistent readings, 3, 4 readings a day. Not every day, but 3, 4 days out of the week, for the last 5 years. Okay. I'm someone that speaks from experience as a reader, as someone who practices astrology daily. Okay. I think it's really important, fire sign risings, that you allow this new moon in Libra to heal your relationship with love and partnership. And to realize that, it's not all about you. Relationships have to be about the other. They have to be about us, they have to be about us. So it's not only what you're taking or what you're receiving or what the other person is getting. It's what you give. It's how you show up. It's how you sacrifice. It's how lean in instead of leaning out and stuff. Because we could be so quick. Fire sign risings. Oh my God. Leo, Aries, Sag rising. And even when the moon, Venus, and throw the sun in there too. Why not? Can be so quick to end a relationship, and to be so quick to just burn a bridge and like let it go, because they don't get what they want, and they throw a tantrum in a moment. when they could have emotionally been vulnerable and opened up and talked about what they were needing or what there was missing or, whatever in order to like heal and work through things. Just saying. That's what came through for you, fire sign risings. But I like this. I like this. I like this new moon for you guys with the new moon in houses 3, 7, and 11, and with Venus, in her rulership. I really do think that fire sign risings, this new moon is trying to get you to shift or change your perspective in how you relate to others. It's trying to renew, what love is and what true partnership is about. It's trying to, help you understand that it's not just about the other person. It's not just about you. It's about that space in between. It's about the connection. It's about us, right? What about us? What about all the ever after? I love Pink, by the way. I love that song too. What about us? Okay. All right. Last but not least, that was for you, Leo, Sag, Aries rising. All right. Last but not least, we're gonna do water sign risings. Water sign risings, baby. Oh, Lord. Um, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio rising. Okay. Can we just move on? Can we just, okay. The new moon is happening in houses 4, 8, and 12. These are difficult houses. Okay. These are difficult houses. These are the sad houses. These are the houses of grief. These are the houses of loss. These are the houses of endings. These are the houses of tragedy. These are the houses of our debt. These are the houses, these are the elephant graveyard houses. Okay, this is where we go and bury things. Houses 4, 8, and 12. So, water sign risings, listen, my loves. I love you guys dearly, but you gotta confront with this new moon in Libra. I love you guys so much, but you guys gotta confront your traumas, your fears. You guys gotta confront, how you silence yourself or how you withhold or how you, dare I say, even try to manipulate, emotionally manipulate in order to get what you want from relationships. It's like water sign risings, Cancer, Scorpio, y'all are always moving sideways in relationships. They're never moving direct. They're never just like, I like you, I want. It's always got to be some kind of mind games. It's always got to be a game of chess. It's always got to be a lot of projection, a lot of delusion. It's always got to be a lot of fantastical imagination. What's even happening? What you think is happening in the connection, or there's not even really happening. It's just your imagination. New Moon in Libra, new way of connecting with others that actually is about connecting with others and asking them what's going on with them and actually, talking to them and actually engaging in conversation and actually letting people know that you like them and actually like opening up the door for communication. Water sign risings are are signs that withhold communication. They don't really say what they mean. And they have a deep fear of communicating the truth of what they're feeling. Okay. And this is because they have air signs in houses 4, 8, and 12. So they prefer to be silent. They prefer to guess. They prefer to have you figure out and guess what it is that they're feeling, what it is that they're thinking, because they don't like vulnerability. They have a deep fear of rejection. They have a deep fear of vulnerability. They have a deep fear of what if they don't like me? Like that's one of the things they're afraid of, that truth. So, water sign risings, the new moon in Libra is an invitation for you to be totally open and honest and truthful with those closest to you. Whether it be your mom or your dad, whether it be your siblings, whether it be your parent, your what is it? Your kids, whether it be your lovers, whether it be your spouse, okay? You guys are being invited with this new moon in Libra to really use your throat chakra to really communicate and express yourself so that the quality of your relationships is better. And so also you can get clarity around what's actually happening in your connections and in your relationships. Excuse me. Water sign risings, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces rising. You guys have Jupiter. Saturn and Mercury Mars in houses 1, 5, and 9. Like Saturn in the North Node are in Pisces, Jupiter's in Cancer, Mercury and Mars are in Scorpio. Water sign risings, water signs in general, but water sign risings are being activated right now. They're being activated. They're feeling some type of way about themselves. They're feeling more confident. They're getting into alignment with themselves. They're feeling more passionate. They're feeling more desire driven. They're feeling a little more a little bit more, they got a little bit more pep in their step, right? So continue to ride that wave, continue to ride that energetic wave, water sign risings, and don't and like add the new moon in Libra and Venus to the mix. And the new moon in Libra and Venus and Libra to the mix. So that you can channel that energy in a way that also improves the quality of your connections and improves the quality of your relationships to where you're feeling more open, you're willing to dialogue, you're actually willing to trust. Oh my God, water sign risings, trusting people. Yes. You got at some point, right? You're gonna have to let someone in. You're gonna have to trust. You're gonna have to take a risk. You're gonna have to take a chance. What is a life worth living that where you're taking no risk? We're not stepping into the unknown. We are not like asking, you're not reaching, you're not searching, you're not questing, you're not investigating. What's a life worth living outside of all that? So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces rising, there's an invitation for y'all to get very clear and to make up your mind and to be very open and honest and to kind of lean in when it comes to your relationships instead of being avoidant, instead of trying to get the other person to guess and figure out what it is that you're feeling, instead of like leaning out because you have trust issues and because you're afraid and because you're unsure and because you nah. We're over that. Get over it. Stop it, please. It's annoying me. It's time for you. I'm annoyed. The energy is annoying me. The water sign energy, the water sign rising energy is annoying me. Okay. Because it's like it's a lot of this like being timid and being passive and being no, we don't have time for that. We got work to do. We got relationship. We got to fall in love. We our clock is ticking, okay? We got to get married. We got to have babies. We got to buy the house, okay? The clock is ticking. Life is just passing us by because we're afraid, because we're scared, because we're timid, because we're traumatized, because my mom wasn't there for me when I was growing up, and because my dad was. Get over it. Let it go. It's time to move on, okay? Someone said I want to fall into money. You go do that. It's not enough. Everyone wants money. Everyone wants money. That's not enough. When you were like, oh, I want money, I desire money, you know what the next question Spirit asks when I hear, when people are like, oh, I want money. You know what Spirit, the next thing I hear that Spirit says, how are you going to go ahead and get it? How are you going to go ahead and grow that for yourself? How are you going to go ahead and align with a mission or with a passion or with a way of serving people that will bring abundance into your life? Everyone wants money. That's nothing new. God knows our heart. God knows that we want money. But the first thing when you desire money, Spirit's gonna ask you why and what are you gonna do for it and how are you gonna align with something that's divine so that the money that you accumulate, the money that comes in, isn't low vibrational, isn't negative, isn't causing harm to others, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to go. Someone just said something about money, so I went on a little tangent. But anyways, let's get back to the water sign risings. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces rising. Houses 14, 12. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the other thing I'm kind of getting, water sign risings. You guys need to let go of people that are just not showing up for you. I hate to say it. Stop romanticizing that person that is just not ready, that's not prepared, that's not showing up for you. New moon in houses 14 and 12. You need to accept the fact that whatever certain people, however they've been showing up, whatever they've been showing you, whatever they've been giving you, that's they're at capacity. That's all they can offer. And if that's not enough for you, if that's not really what you're looking for, if they're not ready now, don't waste your time, don't waste your energy. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer rising. It's important that you be very honest with where the other person is at, with what the other person wants, okay, with what you want, with what you're at, with what your expectations are in the connection or in the relationship or what you want. And this doesn't have to be romantic. This could be from friendships. This could be from your family. This could be you expecting your mom and your dad to like evolve and become these like, new people. Maybe they're already in their 60s and 70s. Like, like this can be you expecting your parents to like evolve and become new people and to like having a spiritual awakening and to see you and understand you and empathize with you in ways that, that you've always desired, but they can't. They're never going to. They can't. They're never going to. They are who they are and they're stuck in their ways. So I also feel like it's important that we stop being delusional water sign risings around expecting others to evolve or change along with us and expecting to receive anything different than what they've always given you. You know what I mean? Like, this is who they are. This is who they're continuing to choose to be every day. So don't hurt your own feelings. Don't get all jaded. Don't get all resentful. Don't hold on to whatever you've experienced with them already, right? Because you want them to change. You want things to be different. No, that's up to them. And whether or not they're going to do that, it should hold no bearing on you. I really do think that water sign risings, they need to find closure with things of the past, especially associated with like love and relationships. They need to find closure for themselves in whatever ways that they didn't get it with this new moon in Libra. This new moon in Libra is like opening up new doors to connection and relationships, new ways of perceiving relationships, right? But also because it's a new moon in houses 4, 8, and 12, is about releasing and purging and clearing out relationship stuff or partnership stuff or social stuff or even family stuff. I'm thinking about houses, the fourth house for Cancer rising. That is just like it's in the past. You can't take that trauma with you anymore. You got to let it go. You got to transmute it. You got to heal through. You got to release it. You got to forgive. You got to forget. You got to move on. Because in some ways it could still be negatively impacting your current relationship life, and it can also be blocking or preventing you from really welcoming in something new, right? And you'll know if you haven't worked through your relationship karmic, if your karmic love, karmic relationship stuff, karmic partnership stuff, whether it be with like friends, whether it be with lovers or whatever, you'll know if you haven't worked through it because you'll end up in relationships that are like the same. It's like you're dating the same person with a different name. You're like, and you're like the same thing happens in the connection. The same relate. It's like the same things unfold, the same problems unfold. You have the same issues. That's how you'll know that you really haven't done a deep dive. You really haven't done the inner work to evolve and change the way that you're experiencing relationships. Because if you keep experiencing sameness, that's like the strongest indicator. The strongest indicator is that you keep it. Why? You're four people that you're okay. You've been cheated on for the fourth time, right? You've been cheated on for the fourth time. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, you've been taken advantage of 5 times in a row by partners or by friends or whatever. What? You got to start asking yourself, okay, is it you or is it them? I think after the fifth time, you got to start holding yourself accountable, being like, why do I keep, connecting to friends that are broke, that take financial advantage of me, that I feel like I got to do everything for and give everything to? Well, maybe because that's how you only feel valued or appreciated. Maybe that's because that's how you assert your worth and value in connections is by what you have to give because you don't actually value yourself and just your presence or even see that just who you are and you being in connection with that person is enough. Not what you have to give, what you have to do, what you have to offer, right? So if when these patterns, when these kind of karmic patterns show up in relationships where we experience some kind of neglect or abuse, where we get taken advantage of or something, it's usually happening because we're trying to overcompensate for something that we're not feeling within ourselves. There's a certain level of lack. There's a certain, level of low sense of self-worth or a lack of self-love even, right? Which is why we end up putting ourselves in these positions many times to get taken advantage of, to get used and abused, to get neglected in connections, because we feel like that's all we're worth, and that's the only way we can assert our value, unfortunately, right? And that's the truth. And once we can really be honest with that, once we can really look that in the eyes and be like, okay, you know what? I just don't love myself, or I only feel worthy when I give, right? Like, once we can look at that and be honest with that and work through that within ourselves, we can go ahead and change the course of our directions, and we can clear that karma, and then we will no longer be experiencing these things in our connections, you know? So, people of the past coming back, maybe for you, I don't know, maybe, it could be houses 4, 8, and 12. If you're like expecting, waiting for people of the past to come back, you got to move on, baby. You got to move on. You got to let go of the past, okay? If you're even asking that question, that tells me that you're thinking about someone from the past, and you got to let that go. You gotta let that go. Nothing but listen. Rarely, if ever, rarely, like 3% chance, rarely does the past bring us anything new. Very, very rarely. And most of the time, when we're looking to the past to bring something new, we're deluding ourselves. We are lying to ourselves because, like, 97% of the time with things of the past, all you're gonna do is get the same shit. They're going to fall into the same patterning. Like, not much is going to change. Like, the only way I would ever invite the past in is if it's like 10, 15, 20 years in the past. Okay. Like, and if that person or that thing or that whatever has really done the inner work to become something different. But I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't even matter. Sometimes, like, the person could like do all this inner work and whatever, but we just have certain karmic things with people that will just bring us back to some kind of weird karmic patterning with the other, you can have worked on yourself and evolved, and they can work on themselves and evolve and all this, but many times what happens is, like, even when you come back together with that person, they done the inner work, you've done the inner work. Let's wait for the It's lagging on here, hold on. I'm just waiting for the lag to go in here. They've done the inner work, you've done the inner work. Even if when you guys still come together, there will still be negative karmic patterning. And sometimes your synastry with people is just bad. Hate to say it. Sometimes you just got bad synastry with people. Doesn't matter how evolved they are, how evolved you are. Sometimes the way your charts just hit each other and the karmic story that you have with some people, you're not meant to be with them. You're not meant to be with them. You're meant to let them go in this lifetime. And synastry will show us that. You can also look at a composite chart. Composite chart will show you that. Synastry will show you that, right? You can have two people that are very high vibe and highly evolved, but if their synastry is just too bad, it's just so bad, like, it's just, there's still going to be conflict, there's still going to be a lack of passion, there's still going to be tension, there's still going to be awkwardness, there's still going to be argument, there's still going to be like weird stuff that shows up. Sometimes that's just the karmic thing. I do believe that many people, like many relationships, are here to teach us how to let go. They're to just teach us a lesson, and then, like, we're supposed to let them go. It's like, I don't know. This is something I still kind of, philosophize around. I don't really, I don't know. I'm not going to speak to that. But what I will say is there are relationships that are just supposed to teach us something, and then we're supposed to move on. Most relationships, actually, like, very, very few relationships are we supposed to like sit in or stay in, especially like romantically in love. Many of us have love karma, and we have love karma that, from past lives or from timelines to where we couldn't leave a partner, or, a partner had full control or authority over us, or we were like, forced to marry, or that we were, there was like an arranged marriage and stuff, right? And so we weren't able to leave. So in this lifetime, in this timeline, we have so much more autonomy as individuals. We have so much more freedom, right? And we have more choice and agency in how we partner and how we relate to others. And I think in this timeline, many of us are just clearing out love karma. We're just clearing out partners from the past that we were too afraid to leave, that we weren't able to leave, or where there was, some kind of karmic thing where there's an abuse of power, there's deception, there's cheating, there's, neglect, there's controversy, there's stigma, there's something, right? And for many of them, we are just meant to clear those people out in this lifetime because we weren't able to do it in the last lifetime, or we didn't have the courage or bravery to do it, or we just simply weren't, And I really feel this with women too. I see this a lot when I do readings with women. Like, there's a lot of women that they have certain signatures in their chart that indicate like being forced to marry at a young age, or partnering with partners out of survivability, or because of societal expectation or family expectation, and they weren't able to like leave. They had to be with that person. So in this lifetime, that person shows up again, but in this lifetime, they're here to like free themselves, and they're here to like, not be with that person. They're here to make the choice of like separation or divorce. And whenever you meet someone, this is for everybody that's here on the live. Whenever you meet someone and you instantly recognize them, you instantly like there's an instant recognition, there's an instant connection. They're familiar, they feel like safe, they feel like you just recognize them on a soul level. The best thing to do is to slow down. Slow down, because you'll marry that person, you'll fall into a relationship within a month or two or three, but most of the time there's a karmic thing there. There's a karmic lesson that you're gonna have to learn. And it will show up at some point. Okay. And so the best thing to do is to slow down. Okay. And to kind of see, all right, what is my karmic narrative with this person? Because if you have instant recognition, instant familiarity, that tells you it's a karmic partner. But we don't know yet. We don't know if it's, divine aligned good, like, oh, this is your soulmate, this is meant to be the love of your life, or if it's like karmic lesson, soulmate, tragedy, loss, power struggle, deception, control, manipulation. You don't know what it is yet. And you got to figure out, okay, what is it? Like, yeah, all right, I feel this strong connection with this person. I feel like I've known them before. There's a karmic thing that is like very about this, and I know I got to figure this out, but is it like karmic good or is it karmic bad? And I think that's where we let time reveal that to us, right? So, because we'll like jump into partnership with these people. We'll like, I want to marry you within 3 months, We'll like, oh yeah, let's have kids and like do the baby thing like right away, right? But it's like, wait a minute, we gotta slow down because there's usually some kind of karmic thing, and we don't want to get ourselves karmically entangled with that person, especially if our karmic lesson with them is going to be at some point to like let them go. You see what I'm saying? New moon in Libra theme for sure. New moon in Libra topic, very appropriate for the new moon in Libra. This is for like everybody, but yeah. All right, my loves, I think we're done. I think we're done. We're at 8:30, 2 hour live, not too bad, all things considered. I'm gonna be doing the week ahead Astro tomorrow a little bit early. So I will be here 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific time, because I got things to do tomorrow, and I got to drive back to Portland tomorrow, and I got to be out of my Airbnb by 11. So I'm going to be going live extra early tomorrow from 8 a.m. to like 9:30 or 10, because I got stuff to do. So if you guys want to be up nice and early with me, if not, it's okay. It's going to be saved, and I will also post it to YouTube. Okay. You like my hair? Thank you. I'm getting a haircut on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, my hair's herring today for sure. Um, yeah, I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this, and I'm gonna go ahead and also upload it to YouTube. I'm gonna try to do that tonight. Someone asked, Yes, karmic relate. Some people never leave karmic relationships. Karmic relationships can last years. Someone asked, can karmic relationships last years? Yes. Some people, they never leave. They'll be in there 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years till the day that they die, and they'll come back and have to do it again the next lifetime. No, some people, it's okay though, and teach their own. We learn eventually. That's what Edgar Casey said. That's what Jesus said. That's what the Buddha said. We learn eventually. If we don't get it right in this lifetime, we're gonna get it right in the next one, hopefully. And if not in that one, then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Some of our soulmates, some of our karmic partners, we've been traveling this earth with for millennia. You know, that's why it's so hard sometimes to let go of people, or that's why it's so hard sometimes to really like free ourselves from certain connections because we've just been in partnership with them for lifetimes, lifetimes. And that's why it can really feel like sometimes, even like brief connections, like even you can meet someone and have a whirlwind romance for 3 months and then like it ends and it can feel like so heartbreaking. You can feel so much grief and it can just feel so intense and so emotionally overwhelming in the let go because you've traveled with that person over many lifetimes, you know? I'm waiting for the reconnection. It's lagging over here on Instagram. So hold on, let's give it a second. Okay, we're back. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. So yeah, so sometimes it can feel so like a quick little 3 month relationship can feel so gut-wrenching and so heartbreaking because you've emotionally invested and experienced that person over many lifetimes in past lives, right? So that's why it can feel so difficult or so hard sometimes with certain relationships. And they don't even have to last that long, but they can have such a profound impact on us. It's because that we have a certain karmic narrative with that person that spans many lives possibly, and over those lifetimes we've accumulated a very strong emotional charge or emotional investment in that connection and in that person, right? So but yeah, my loves, happy new moon in Libra. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the week ahead forecast. Anything that I didn't cover in the new moon in Libra live today, I will cover tomorrow when we go and do the week ahead forecast, and I'll talk a little bit more about the new moon in Libra. But I love you all so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I hope you guys enjoyed this new moon and Libra overview. Everybody that donated, I really appreciate you guys for donating and for contributing. Um, and yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Mwah. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Get some good rest tonight, okay? Get some good rest. All right. I'll see you guys on the flip side.